Just quickly, before we get into this video today, if you are a massive fan of my channel, it's much appreciated. But if you want to do something for some friends of mine that I work with, go check out the channel. The first link in the description down below. It's a friend of mine's channel. They're new to YouTube, so only on 40 subscribers, so it'd be massive if we could get them a big jump of subscribers. If you do go over and subscribe to them, please tell them JNO sent you, because you know on this channel we love to support other channels, so go check them out and send them some love. What's up guys, and welcome to FPL Today. I'm the man in the know, JNO, and welcome to my team for Game Week 28, points, performance and transfer thoughts, where as we've only got one day, I go over how my team did in Game Week 27 and then the transfers I'm considering moving into Game Week 28, which starts this Tuesday. So let's get on with the video, and we start off with how I did, and as you can see, I managed to get 45 points with no transfer hits, which in a game week like this Blank Game Week actually turns out to be a pretty decent score, as a lot of people had very bad game weeks. It actually saw me rise up to 9,088th in the world, which is me in the top 10k finally, and overall I'm on 1,691 points. If we have a look at this side, you can see that I only had one man on the bench, but we had 12 players playing overall, and the man I put on the bench was, fortunately for me, the best player to put on the bench, Schindler, only getting 1 point. The story of my game week was the defence saving me, as I got 5 points or more from all 3 of my playing defenders, and then of course Raul Jimenez, that beautiful man, also getting some returns. Pretty much blanks everywhere else, not much to talk about, but potentially there is something in the underlying stats, so let's have a look at that. So we start off with the goalkeeper and defence, and we can see that Ben Foster didn't return points for me for once. At 4.6 million, it looked like Watford were romping home to a massive win with a clean sheet, but unfortunately for me, they did concede near the end of the game, meaning they only won 5-1. If you had Delafeu, well done, congratulations. But Ben Foster at 4.6 million for me has been a really good differential, as a lot of people have gone to the likes of Fabianski, Patricio, or up to higher priced goalkeepers, and Foster has been doing rather well for me. He did get 4 saves, which means he got a save point, so 3 points overall for 90 minutes played. No clean sheet, but Ben Foster has a bit of leeway for me because of how well he's been doing. Whether we keep him or not though, you'll see in the transfer thoughts part of this video. And then the defence, this is where the majority of my points were. We managed to get 8 points from Robertson, who managed to get 2 bonus points on top of his 6 points. He managed to get a clean sheet, but underlying stats wise, I suppose in a very hard fought game against Manchester United, only 3 penalty area touches and 1 chance created. And to be honest, it's pretty much a story of my game week. The underlying stats aren't that incredible in what was a very tough game week for players. Yedlin was my transfer in for the injured Wan-Bissaka. It was a bit of a hard thing to let Wan-Bissaka go, but with him being injured, I didn't really fancy Schindler to come in and do a job for me, so I brought in Yedlin. Turns out the transfer was correct, with Yedlin getting 5 points and Schindler getting 1. He played the full 90 minutes, he did get a clean sheet. Unfortunately, he did pick up a yellow card, which did hurt his points slightly. No bonus points, but he got 3 penalty area touches and 2 chances created, so I'm hopeful for Yedlin with Newcastle's run of fixtures and the fact that they don't blank in Game Week 31. And then we have Matt Doherty at 5.4 million. The reason he was kept in is because he does have a good run of fixtures. There was the chance of Roberto Pereira coming in for him, but I'm happy I held off that move for now. 5 points from 90 minutes played. He got an assist. It was 1-1 against Bournemouth, so no clean sheet there. No bonus points, but he did have 4 penalty area touches with 1 attempt on goal, which came from inside the box, and he was the man that won the penalty, which got Raul Jimenez the goal. So he got a fantasy football assist, which I'll take in this game week. We then move on to the midfield, and we fielded a 5-man midfield, and we had 5 disappointments. So we captained Son at 9 million, and he managed to return 2 points, 87 minutes played. Tottenham only scored 1 against Burnley. Burnley actually won 2-1. Kane was the man getting the goal for Tottenham Hotspurs, which is unfortunate. However, Son has done really well for me. Again, it's one of those things where you give a player a bit of leeway if he has been performing for you. He got 4 penalty area touches with only 1 attempt on goal, which wasn't from inside the box or on target, but he did create 3 chances, and on another day, maybe he'd have picked up an assist. We then had Ryan Fraser also playing at 6.1 million. He, again, was part of a game where there was 1 goal for his side, but he wasn't involved. He got 3 points from 90 minutes played, 1 bonus point somehow, which I'm not 100% sure how he got it, but 4 penalty area touches and 2 chances created. And then we have the interesting story of Roberto Pereira. On Friday night, I'm watching lots of goals go in for Watford, and at 6.1 million, Roberto Pereira is offering nothing. No goals, no assists, despite 5 goals being scored. It's painful because a while back when I brought Pereira in, I was considering bringing in Deulofeu because he was cheaper. I wish I'd made that move now because Pereira hadn't done anything for me since I brought him back into my side. And Deulofeu, while he hadn't done much more recently until game week 27, if I'd had him this game week, what a massive effect that could have had on my ranking. Pereira getting 2 points from 70 minutes played. He's likely to be moved on for game week 28, but he did get 4 penalty area touches, 1 attempt on goal, which was on target but wasn't from inside the box. Then we had the other big hitters other than Son, Mohamed Salah and Pogba playing each other, 13.6 million and 8.8 respectively. Neither getting any returns, both getting 3 points. Salah still had plenty of penalty area touches, but only 1 attempt on goal, which wasn't from inside the box or on target. And as for Pogba, 2 attempts on goal, 1 from inside the box, 1 on target. It was a big chance and he created 1 chance. So Pogba's underlying stats still look pretty amazing. So potentially captainers of Pogba were unlucky, but Salah didn't really show up from what I see in the stats. And then we get on to the forwards and we have Raul Jimenez and Marcus Rashford. Of course, Aguero was on my bench. I've kept Aguero for the fixtures from game week 28 to game week 30. So Raul Jimenez and Rashford are very cheap front line. Rashford, unfortunately, not returning anything, and it looks like he may have picked up an injury in a game where Man United used all of their substitutes by the 41st minute. So worried about Rashford because he played the full 90 because there was no way you could sub him off. 2 points from 90 minutes played, 5 penalty area touches, 2 attempts on goal, 1 from inside the box, which was on target, and 1 chance created. It would be a shame if Marcus Rashford is injured because he's the type of player that people have earned money on. If you transfer him out when he comes back, you've got to figure out a way to transfer him back in with less budget than you would have had if you'd kept him. So that's a difficult area there because my plan was to keep Marcus Rashford on my bench. Now with him potentially being injured, we'll have to see what the news is on that. There might be other moves I need to make. I don't want to get too attached to players near the end of the season. But then Raul Jimenez at 6.8 million, what a man. He doesn't always return, but he does seem to return when it matters. And it really helped me out this game week for him returning, managing to score that penalty from Doherty winning the penalty. And at 6.8 million, 7 points, 87 minutes played, 1 goal, 2 bonus points, 3 penalty area touches, 3 attempts on goal, 2 from inside the box, 1 on target, which was a big chance, of course, it was a penalty. Thank you, Raul Jimenez, is all I can say. You have been a hero this season, and he has to go up there as one of the bargains of the season, one of the players of the season in an FPL perspective. So we now look at how my team lines up for game week 28, and you can see that we start off with Ben Foster in goal against Liverpool. That's not ideal, but we can't really bring in Button when he isn't really starting. We then have Doherty against Huddersfield away, Robertson against Watford at home, Burnley is the opposition for Yedlin at home, and then Digne has Cardiff away. So that is 4 favourable fixtures in my eyes for my defenders, and yes, I still have Digne. He plays in game week 31. It almost feels like a potential waste of a transfer in a blank game week where any points could be massively, massively important. So Digne is staying in the side for now, and he's playing next game week for me as long as he starts. Then in midfield, we've got Son, Salah and Pogba, the heavy hitters in midfield, with the other 2 on the bench. Son's got Chelsea away. We'll have to see what happens there. With what's happened recently at Chelsea with the Carabao Cup and the losing to Man City before the Carabao Cup 6-0, who knows what Chelsea are going to turn up. But going to leave Son in there just in case there's another complete collapse of that Chelsea side. Then we've got Salah against Watford at home. That's looking like a tasty fixture for Salah. And Pogba against Crystal Palace away. Those look like good fixtures for Salah and Pogba. Hopeful of points there, but of course so many people own them. And then the reason we kept Aguero, he's got West Ham at home. So we're hopeful of something from him there. He did play the whole game in the Carabao Cup though. So there is a worry that potentially gets rested midweek. But Aguero is there, hoping that he starts against West Ham. And then Rashford against Crystal Palace. There's a caution sign on him, so a bit worried about that, but Rashford against Palace would be nice. And then Jimenez also against Huddersfield away. So the side looks like it's got decent fixtures to get some points for me this game week. And then of course we've got Schindler against Wolves at home, Fraser against Arsenal away, and Pereira against Liverpool away on the bench. So we now move on to the transfer thoughts, and it's going to be a little bit different because I am focusing on game week 31. I want to have 11 players for game week 31, hopefully, without having to take any hits. If there looks like a player in form, then I can always take that hit for Game Week 31 to bring that player in and then have 12 players, but the plan at the moment is to have 11 players. And if we look at the next screen, you can see the players I have that blank, and I've not included Button and Aguero in this because Aguero probably is staying until Game Week 31. That will be when he gets transferred out. And as for Button, he's there because he is a budget enabler goalkeeper, so he might not actually necessarily leave. So the teams that blank and the players that are in those teams, you have Watford with Foster and Pereira. They have Liverpool away, Leicester at home and Man City away. That doesn't look very favourable for Watford, so transfers there could be easy moves for me to make right now. Not worrying that potentially there's points that these players could be getting. Yes, maybe they get something against Leicester, but Liverpool and Man City, you don't really see them getting much against. We then have Tottenham with Son. They have Chelsea away and then Arsenal at home, but then decent fixture in Game Week 30 with Southampton away. So can I hold him for that long? The idea with Son, though, is to hold him to keep that value that I've built in him for the wild card in potentially Game Week 34. We then have Manchester United with Pogba and Rashford. Now, if Rashford is injured, maybe that is a move I have to make. But they've got Crystal Palace away and then Southampton at home before Arsenal away. So I wasn't in any rush to get rid of Manchester United players. And then Wolverhampton with Doherty and Jimenez. Huddersfield away, Cardiff at home, then Chelsea away. So again, 2 more decent fixtures for them. So I wasn't in a rush to get rid of Wolverhampton players. Then look at the teams that do play in Blank Game Week 31. And first we look at the cheaper teams with the cheaper options that could replace some of the cheaper players that I'm transferring out. We start off with Bournemouth, and the only player I'm really looking for from them is King. I've already got Fraser, but King looks in form, looks like he's taken up the mantle in Callum Wilson's place. And without Wilson, Fraser doesn't seem to be doing that well. And also Brooks does seem like he is a doubt for Game Week 31. So King seems to be the only real option. We've got Arsenal away, Man City at home and Huddersfield away. So there's no rush to bring King in. He could be brought in Game Week 30 or 31. We then look at Newcastle, who do have favourable fixtures with Burnley at home, West Ham away and Everton at home. And the players we're looking at there, I am very interested in Almiron. He does seem like a player with a lot of pace and potentially someone that can make things happen at Newcastle. The other player, of course, is Rondon, who had a good Game Week 27 and is, of course, leading the line at Newcastle and does seem to be getting some sort of consistency in returns. We then look at Leicester City, and to be honest, Roberto Pereira in other situations would have most likely come into my side this game week, but with that Wan-Bissaka injury, I looked elsewhere. Also, the fact that Digne now doesn't blank in Game Week 31 was another reason Pereira didn't come in. But I am looking at Pereira and Maddison. Don't really think I can stretch out to Vardy, but Brighton at home, Watford away and Fulham at home look like good fixtures for Leicester City, especially with that Fulham at home game. And then West Ham with Man City away, but then Newcastle at home and Cardiff away. Looks like another team with good fixtures. I'm just not sure who to go for in that side. Antonio and Anderson not necessarily filling me with much confidence, and Arnautovic seems to be spending a lot more time on the bench, so not sure what to do with that information from West Ham. And then finally we look at some of the more expensive players in the top 6 teams in Blank Game Week 31, and that is of course Liverpool and Chelsea. Now Liverpool have Watford at home, Everton away and Burnley at home. Great fixtures going into a Blank Game Week. I already have Salah and Robertson. Now, who else to bring in? Now, Firmino apparently may have an injury that could see him not play as big a part in the next couple of game weeks. If that is so, I'm potentially looking at Shaqiri if I think Shaqiri could start, because I think he could be a bit of a differential. He has looked good when he has played for Liverpool, but of course the safer option would be Sadio Mane. And then we have Chelsea, who have Tottenham at home next, so not really someone I could bring in right now for this game week. But then it's Fulham away and Wolverhampton at home. Now those are 2 good fixtures. I love any fixture against Fulham right now. And Hazard and Higuain are the ones I'm interested in. Hazard, of course, is Hazard. But Higuain has shown signs of being a clinical striker. And potentially that could be a really good move for me to make going into Game Week 31 where Chelsea have Everton. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of FPL Today, my team for Game Week 28 as always. It's much appreciated. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you are new here and hit that notification bell so you know when my videos go live. Check out the various links in the description down below. Also, check out the channel link in the description down below for some friends of mine with their own YouTube channel. If that interests you when you go over there from the beginning of the video, please check them out and tell them JNO sent you. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.